What is up, YouTube? It is Metro Game 75 here tonight. Today we're playing Sakura Succubus 7, and today Ayu is going to begin. She's going to sing for us. There's a brief pause during which Ayu mentally prepares, and then a few seconds later, she begins to sing. Ayu's song isn't accompanied by backtracking, as it usually is during her live performance, but that doesn't matter. This is a cappella rendition of her latest single. It's beautiful in its own right. I always thought Ayu's voice was touched too high pitched, but now I'm starting to wonder whether I was judging her too harshly. I never realized until today just how gifted a singer Ayu is. She holds one arm aloft as she sings, a pure, guileless smile upon her face. The wind stares at Ayu's hair so it shifts about her shoulders. Her violet eyes, meanwhile, seems to be sparkling. Ayu looks completely in her element, standing upon the stage as she is. Her confidence is overwhelming, so much so I can't hear my tears, my eyes away from her, and I'm not the only one. The kids in the audience too are all staring at Ayu, their mouths open. They were cheering pretty loudly before Ayu began to sing, but now she's begun, they've all fallen quiet. Nobody talks while Ayu sings. I don't think anybody's even thinking of talking. Ayu's singing really is captivating. There is something warm about Ayu's voice, something sweet and gentle. Listening to it makes me feel protected. It's been a long time since I felt this relaxed. You know, it's been a while. Man, time wears on and the park eventually closes. When this happens, I have to leave alongside my assorted group of succubi, plus one European princess and her ever doleful maid. Yui wishes me a farewell and returns to the succubus realm after pressing a quick kiss against my cheek. Ayu, Cosmo, Stefania, Elizabeth, and I meanwhile have to take a train back into central Tokyo where we all live. We wait at the station for about 10 minutes until a train arrives, and then we boarded, alongside an influx of other guests from the park. All of us spent after a busy day. Elizabeth and Stefania sit together, as do Ayu and Cosmos. I sit apart from them and smile while I watch them. Stefania is engaged in an animation discussion with Elizabeth about all the rides she went on, and the delicious food that she ate, and all the fun she had. She's so excited I can hear her even above the rumbling of the train. The theme parks really are amazing. I'm so glad I was afforded the opportunity to visit one. I never thought I would be able to have such an experience. Not while I was growing up in the palace. For once I feel like an ordinary woman, but goodness, it is liberating. Being ordinary has never been more fun. Yes it has. I would have to question Stefania's self-proclaimed normalcy, given she's pontificating about her aforementioned normality to her maid, but I don't cut into her conversation. That would seem crass, particularly when she's having such a good time. As for Cosmos and Ayu, meanwhile, well, cozy cat nap. Of course, they're perfect for two of them. Well, they're all sleeping. Meow. They're both fast asleep. Ayu's head is resting upon Cosmo's shoulder, while Cosmo's cheek is pressed against Ayu's forehead. Ayu's lips are pursued, almost as though she's awaiting a kiss, and her long lashes practically seem to melt together. Cosmo's lips, meanwhile, are curved and into a small smile. The train judges back and forth, the wheels screeching on the metal tracks, but meow. Neither of them stir. Now this is quite the curious sight I've never seen. Ayu cuddle up so closely to Cosmos, not of her own volition at least. If she were awake, there's no way Ayu would stand for this. I can easily imagine her springing away from Cosmos and her brow furrowed and an angry cry of, "As if I'd ever cuddle up to you, you idiot. I don't want to catch your fleas, or worse. For all I know, you might have rabies, you stupid good-for-nothing cat girl. Get away from me." Ayu isn't being her usual aggressive self right now. However, not even she can maintain her perpetual pissiness when she passed out, I suppose. Right now I cuddle up together like a pair of kittens in a basket. They really do like the best friends. Though I know Ayu, of course, would be infuriated that such a thought ever crossed my mind. I'll keep this to myself, not so as not to incur the future awoken Ayu's wrath, but... meow. They look rather cute together. And you say you don't like Cosmos, Ayu. I murmur to myself amused by this turn of events. I'm sure you must like her deep down. This proves it. Compelled by some devious impulse, I fish my phone out of my pocket, then angle it at the pair of sleeping besties. I open up my camera function, shift back a little in my seat, and click. There. Now I have a photographic proof of Cosmos and Ayu closeness, saving my phone for future prosperity. I have no plans of actually showing this photo to Ayu. I don't want her scratching my eyes out, but she looks so cute right now. It'd be a shame to let the moment pass without commemorating it in some way. I'll always remember this moment, at least even if Ayu won't. I don't want to forget today's events, nor how much fun we've all had together. I'm not a big fan of theme parks, but I really did enjoy myself, and I'm enjoying myself all the more now after seeing Ayu and Cosmos getting along so well. This is actually a good sight, not gonna lie. The train eventually pulls into our station, and when it does, I rise to my feet, stretching to my joints click. Then I step off the train alongside Stefani and Elizabeth. Cosmo and Ayu remain on the train still together, though they both since awoken from their shared sleep. They both live a little further down the street line, so they don't join us, though we do share our quick farewells. The doors of the train close behind me with a hiss, and then it departs, taking Ayu and Cosmos deeper into the heart of Tokyo. Flanked by Stefani and Elizabeth, I wend my way back home to my cruddy rundown apartment. The sun has well and truly set at this point, and the streets through which I walk are dark, illuminated by the artificial orange glow of street lamps and the moon which hangs overhead. My footsteps fall against the ground with a series of discordant thuds, which mingle with the sharp strikes of Elizabeth's heels. Stefani has animated enough on the train as she chatters 19 to the dozen with Elizabeth, but I think her energy is beginning to run out. She yawns, one hand pressed to her mouth, and her body slits to one side. Careful, milady. Fortunately, Elizabeth is there to catch her, as any good maid ought before she can careen to the ground. We do not have long to go. Go now. Do not try to hang in there. Oh yes. My apologies, Lizzie. I do not mean me to make you worry for me. I am just, Stefania yawns again, more tears beating in the corner of her eyes. So very tired. You push yourself too hard, milady. You went on rather too many rides in too short of a space of time. It is no wonder that you would be tired. While working too hard in the phenomena, everybody is aware of it. It is possible to play too hard, too. You are not accustomed to cutting loose, so of course you would be weary after a day spent having so much fun. Yes, you might be right. I was running around an awful lot. My feet are somewhat sore. Would you like me to give them a massage once we return? Whoa! Would you do that, Lizzie? For you, milady? Of course, there's nothing I would not do for you. You are very dear to me. I wish for nothing to save your happiness. Though I am aware, of course, that your newfound happiness is largely contingent upon Miss Okusawa's. That being the case, I would not be averse to the idea of massaging your feet too, Miss Okusawa. Would you wish it? Oh, what? Oh, I glanced away a little flustered by Elizabeth's earnest entreaty. It seems a bit silly, really, to get so worked up over such a statement when I've engaged in all manner of intimidating relations with all manner of women, but I don't think I've ever had a foot massage before. It sounds like kind of intimidate. Just reminds me of Jones' barbecue and foot massage. Such an old video that's like about 15 or 11 years old on YouTube. Jeez. Is this something I'd be interested in? I mean, look, it ain't my thing, but I would rather not, but I want to see. I wouldn't mind. I want to see what's going to happen. I wouldn't mind, I guess, but I'm not sure why you seem so enthused. You don't have a foot fetish, do you, Elizabeth? Not that I know of. My only fetish is serving others and making them feel good. Ah, it does. Your face tells it. It's true. As soon as you change that expression, it is 100% true. This is actually true. Though if I get to place my hands all over your cute souls in the process, I will consider it a victory. Yeah, it is true. It is 100% true. Cute. That's the last word I used to describe my feet. My own in particular. Jeez, I can't tell if Elizabeth is teasing me or not. It's hard to tell when her tone is so impassive. This is all kinds of weird. I've never met a woman who was so desperate to stroke my toes before. What the heck? She wants to stroke our feet? What the This just sounds so funny, but this is just something. I shake my head bemused and resume my walk to my apartment. We're not too far away now. There's only about 5 minutes to go, and I feel, despite the strange trajectory of my conversation with Elizabeth, fairly relaxed. I'm ready to head back inside and get some much needed shut-eye when... Now for the first time I feel a shiver run down my spine. I felt this way before, and recently too. This is the same sensation that assailed me back at the park when Cosmos, Elizabeth, and Stefania were sipping on their bubble tea. I feels like there's somebody or something watching me, something with a truly terrifying presence. Mr. Urasawa, is something the matter? You're not that unnerved at the prospect of me touching your bare toes, are you? What? Oh no. If I'm being honest, if my feet were the last thing on my mind, this is the last half a minute. The unpleasant sensation which spread through me, of all others, thoughts from my mind. I still feel out of sorts, but it probably could be that person that we saw at the park. That person seemed kind of suspicious though. That was like back in part 4. But they look like someone from Sakura Swim Club though. Though I cast my gaze with this way and that, I can't see anything which might be causing my discomfort. The street is full of shadows, true, which would make perfect places for any interlopers to hide, but I can't detect even the faintest flicker of movement. The uncomfortable coldness inside my veins, meanwhile, already seemed to have thawed. Was I imagining things? I hope so. There might be any genuine physical threat, but the lingering what-ifs has me left feeling tense and edgy. What in the world am I getting so worked up about? The following morning, I wake uneasily from my slumber after soldiering, or so it felt, in a roiling pit of anxious, uncomfortable dreams. I haven't heard this name Soldier in a while. This is like a Pokemon name that I had back in Pokemon Shield on my channel. I don't remember what I was dreaming about precisely, but a lingering sense of unease clings to me. Though last night passed eventually fully enough after that sharp spike of anxiety I felt while walking back to my apartment, I still feel tense. Not even 8 hours worth of sleep was enough to soothe me. Why do I feel so disoriented? My head is throbbing, it feels like fuzzing. My thoughts meanwhile are all in muddle. When I swallow, I can taste something akin to iron on my tongue. Gross. I need to brush my feet, my teeth, and my hair too. I sweated a little while I was asleep too, and my night shirt is clinging uncomfortably to my skin. With aching limbs and dully throbbing skull, I sit up in my futon and glance around. Elizabeth and I imagine will be in the kitchen working on the breakfast. As Stefania for meanwhile, it's strange that she isn't here. She woke up these last 2 mornings without fail, smiling as she did like an angel. I guess she might have gone to have a shower early though. That makes perfect sense, but for some reason Stefania's absence feels kind of ominous. I can't help but worry that something is awry, but no, I try to tell myself I'm being foolish. I shouldn't worry so much. Nothing is wrong. That brief feeling of icy discomfort I felt last night was nothing more than baseless paranoia. It has nothing to do with Stefania's disappearance. Not that she disappeared. She can't have. That's what I try to tell myself at least, but I'm looking about my room that I notice it. There's an envelope lying on the top of Stefania's futon, an envelope with a neatly penned characters on it that read Okurasaga Hiroki. How strange. Did Stefania leave me a note? I suppose I'll never know until I take a look. But this handwriting doesn't resemble Stefania's. I take the envelope with trembling fingers, then slice it open with my fingernails. I lever a letter out of the envelope's interior, then scan through it. I process the black characters arranged upon the perfectly white paper, my brows furrow, and then... No way! A startled gasp fall from my lips. I can hardly believe it. I don't want to believe it. It doesn't feel real, but the critical lack of Stefania in my bedroom lends this letter some credence. If Stefania really was here, she would have woken me up. If she would have wished me good morning like she did yesterday and the day before that, she would have smiled to me and she would have thanked me for showing her such a good time yesterday. But of course, Stefania didn't do any of those things. She couldn't be because she isn't here. She's been kidnapped. It's probably by that same person. Oh, that face. Kidnapped. Elizabeth stares at me with wide surprise from the other side of the kitchen table. I've since shown the random note, and after scanning through it, Elizabeth now looks aghast, for good reason. Her skin, which has already pale, looks positively ghostly, so pale it reminds me of paper. Elizabeth's fingers are gripping the note so tightly, I'm worried she might tear it, and fear she might render the instructions written upon it unintelligible. I reach forward to tug it smartly from her grasp. The note does look a little crumpled, but other than that, it's not too worse for weird. I can still see all the most important information written upon the note, namely that whoever left it has to find it in her grasp in an abandoned warehouse by a wharf in Yokohama. Yeah, that's what I saw at the start of this game, because when I opened this game up, it's just like an abandoned warehouse, so that's probably where she's at. The kidnapper or kidnappers, I suppose, there could be more than one of them, wants me to meet them at this warehouse as specific in this note later than this night at 2100, which is a military time. I don't know what that is in this current time, so... The note is very clear, too, that I am arrived at this rendezvous point alone. I want you, Orgar to come and see me. The note specifies, and only you. If you bring anybody else, the princess will pay. Do not force my hand. I have no desire to use violence. This unpleasant affair can be resolved peacefully, of that I promise you, so as long as you heed my instructions. The note goes on to specify that I should appear at this abandoned warehouse with a significant sum of cash on my person. After handing the cash over to the kidnappers, they will let Stefania go free. As far as kidnapping scenarios go, it seems fairly standard. Not that I know very much about kidnapping. I've never been in a situation like this before. I have seen similar scenarios in movies, though. This really does sound like a plot of some bad action movie. The contents of the note itself were particularly cliché. So much so I might have been tempted to consider this whole thing an elaborate prank if Stefania really wasn't missing. That's proof enough, if nothing else, that whoever left this note was being serious, perhaps lethally so. What will they do? I can't help but worry to Stefania. Will she be alright? I'm painfully aware that with every passing second, that Stefania must be at the mercy of these mysterious brigands. I'm sure she must be terrified. I want to save Stefania more than anything else, but I'm worried if I don't heed the letter, I'll only serve to put her in further danger. Stefania's welfare is on the line here. I can't afford to screw things up. Any wrong move on my part could well prove to be disastrous. I need to think about this calmly and logically, but Elizabeth seems too worked up to think about things in terms like that. How could this happen? How could I have let Milady be kidnapped? I'm supposed to be her top maid. Looking after her is my duty. If I cannot do that much, then how much worth do I have? For all I claim to love Milady, I truly am a failure. I will never forgive myself for this. Not for as long as I live. But all is not lost. I can get her back, and I will. But if it's a confrontation this kidnapper wants, then I am not afraid to grant them it. I will not let them intimidate me despite all their cowardly threats. I am not afraid. I will storm into their hiding place, and I will retrieve Milady using my means at my disposal. Please wait for me, Milady. I won't let you suffer on your own. Elizabeth strides forward, perhaps meaning to exit my apartment, but I stop her before she can retreat, resting a restraining hand upon her shoulder. I mean, you can't go because it only specifies me to go there. But, well, easy there, Elizabeth. Let's not do anything hasty. Can't you take a few deep breaths? We need to think about this logically. Logically? Elizabeth scowls. How could I think about anything logically, Miss Kurosawa, when Milady is missing? For all we know, her kidnapping might be subjecting to her unspeakable torture, even as we stand here. We are doing nothing to save wasting time. If you can afford to take deep breaths, then you are clearly not regarding this situation with the degree of seriousness it deserves. For shame, Miss Kurosawa, but I thought you cared about Milady. I do care about her. I care about her immensely. That's why I'm asking you to slow down and to reconsider. There's no guarantee that Stefania is being tortured right now. Grim though it might sound, I presume her kidnapper would want to keep her in one piece, at least until they receive the ransom money. But she really might be in danger if we ignore the warnings in this letter and we both go flying to her rescue. The letter states that I'm the only one who to meet her. Something awful might happen if we don't heed it. What? But then, what are we to do? What do we do too? How are we supposed to rescue Milady? We need to give it some thought. I don't have much like the idea of hanging around waiting either, so how about this? I think we should go and see Marina. Miss Wakatsuki, you mean? That's right. Marina's pretty smart. She knows her stuff. If anybody could give us advice, she can. And I think if there's really no way to save Stefania beyond bowing to the kidnapper's whims, then Stefania should be able to procure the money they ask for. I don't much like the thought of rewarding these kidnappers for their wicked scheme, but playing along with them might be the only option to us. The amount of money they request is truly eye-watering. At least it is to a poor nobody like myself, but Stefania's welfare is far more important. Like Elizabeth herself said, I'm prepared to do anything for her sake. The money is no object. I just want to ensure that Stefania's alright. Bro, how did you get kidnapped like this? Oh boy. Well, this is the first time now we're meeting here today. A kidnapping? Marina surveys Elizabeth and I across her desk, her fingers steeply together and her green eyes narrowed. Elizabeth and I made a beeline for Marina's workplace after discussing the contents of the ransom note we received. After announcing my name to the well-dressed woman and the reception desk, we were soon ushered into Marina's office. Marina fortunately wasn't in the midst of meeting as she welcomed Elizabeth and I genially enough. Now the three of us are sitting together in her plush, high-profile office located at the top of a tall building. The walls of Marina's office are largely compromised with glass, and beyond them I can see Tokyo spread out beneath me like a diorama. The view from Marina's office is breathtaking, and her office itself is awfully fancy. It's been a long while since I last found myself in Marina's office, and back then I didn't have much of an opportunity to look around. I was more distracted with other more carnal, shall we say, matters. Carnality is the last thing on my mind right now. However, as I survey Marina does look very attractive in her suit. It's been a while, I think, since I saw her in that getup, but that's not important right now. Neither is Marina's fancy office. I'm too worried about Stefania to pay anything else much attention. Dear me, this sounds like a thorny situation. I can well understand why you are so concerned. I know that you care for Stefania a good deal, and I know too that Hifumi is very fond of her. She'll be devastated if any harm were to befall her, as would I. Stefania is a good girl. Even if she is a bit of an airhead, and she does not deserve to suffer. Indeed, she does not. That being the case, would you please help us? I don't like to make demands upon others. It is unseemly behavior for a maid, but this matter, I fear, is urgent. Lady's life may well hang in the balance. I cannot bear it if she was to suffer. And do you think I could? My enemies might think me cold and calculating, but I am not devoid of human emotions. I too am rather fond of Stefania, and as I believe I've mentioned already, I do not want any harm to befall her. That is true. That is exactly true. That being the case, Marina ponders while crossing one long, lengthy leg over the other beneath her desk. I can lend you some money if you wish to pay for Stefania's safety. How much did the ransom note specify? I tell Marina the exact amount and she nods. That should not be too hard to procure. Are you sure? The kidnapper or kidnappers asked for a pretty hefty sum. Indeed they did, or at least they would have if they have kidnapped a commoner for a princess. However, the sum is a paltry one, almost curiously so. Jesus Christ, this is actually bad. What we gotta do now? The precise amount of money they demand is so low, in fact, when the construct with Stefania's worth, it makes me wonder whether these kidnappers know what that they're doing. They must be green when it comes to business negotiations. If they were sitting before me in the boardroom, I would make short work of them. They are hopeless novices, really, and worse still, they are cowards. The money they ask for is but a pittance to a woman of my caliber, but I cannot say I like the thought of rewarding them for their underhanded behavior. They deserve nothing from me save my scorn. While I will give you the money the kidnappers asked for, I will not prepare it in a briefcase. In fact, for ease for transportation, I do not intend for this ne'er-do wells to keep the cash. What are your suggestions then? I have been division something of a plan while we have been sitting here having this less than pleasant conversation. So say Marina toys with a lock of her pale, silvery hair twining it about her fingers. I have given the matter something thought, and I have decided that I would like to aid you in Stefania's rescue in a more immediate manner beyond loaning out some money. I would like to accompany you to warehouse where she is being held to protect her if need be. Would you really be willing to do that? Naturally. I am sure I and Kazu will be willing to come along too if I asked them. Hazel and Fuma are too busy, unfortunately, and I would not wish to unduly worry Hifumi by informing her of this incident. Well, it's best not to just tell it to her. It's just best not to tell her that. Hifumi is a sweetheart, and knowing that Stefania is in danger will only worry her. Her help should not be necessary, however. With the aid of us, 3 Succubi, we should be able to overpower the kidnappers and retrieve the money which you would first hand to the kidnappers, of course, as a decoy, Hiroki. How does that sound? It sounds like a solid enough plan if Ayu and Kazu agree to it, but I glance over at Elizabeth. Didn't Maria let something pretty confidential slip there? She just out and announced herself as a succubus alongside Ayu and Cosmos. I thought that was supposed to be a secret. Wait, I wait on the tender hooks for my moment that Elizabeth aghast stares at Marina and says, Edges, what are you really... And yet... Wait, Edgas. That sounds like a good plan to me, too. Elizabeth nods her expression, unsurprised and unchanging. Did she not register that bombshell Marina just dropped? Perhaps she's so concerned about Stefania's welfare, she can't focus on anything else. That makes sense, I guess, but I thought this revelation that Succubi do, in fact, exist will make a bit more of an impact on her. Oh shoot, my bad. I right-click. Hey Elizabeth, did you catch what Marina just did? That she would aid me in finding Milady. Yes, indeed, I heard it loud and clear. No, not that part. I meant more, now, how can I phrase this? I don't think there's any delicate way to put it, so I guess I'll just throw it out there. I was talking about the succubus thing. Ah, yes, I heard that, but don't worry, it comes as no surprise to me. Are you sure most normal people would be freaking out right now if they heard that succubus exists? Perhaps most normal people would, Miss Orgarsha, but you forget that I am not normal. What? As Milady's indomitable, unflappable maid, it's my duty to take such information no matter how shocking in my stride. I lost my head before upon learning that Milady is in danger, but I will not let that happen again. You didn't lose your head. I mean, you still had it attached. I will not let anything disturb me in my quest to get her back. Nothing matters more to me Milady's safety. In any case, I already knew that Miss Wakatsuki was a succubus. Did you indeed? Yes, that is correct. The scent of succubi Succubus is unmistakable. It was quite apparent the moment you stepped foot in Astoria's palace. You and Miss Yamamoto, whom and Miss Williams, Miss Akiu too, Miss Moretti, you are all succubi. I know it's no big surprise. Please do not expect me to gasp in horror, else you will be gravely disappointed. Well, I thought as much. I knew you were very astute. Now I suppose we might as well bring our little tete to an end here. But before that, a proposition I would like to make. And this proposition is... My, do not look so mistrustful. Please, it wouldn't be quite beneficial, I assure you. You to all my parties. You see, Marina smiles while continuing to toy with her hair. Though we succubi are stronger than ordinary humans, it is still possible for us to be overpowered. With myself, Ayu, and Cosmos Percent, we should be able to triumph over our adversaries, whoever they may be, but there's always a chance things might go awry. Perhaps you are aware of this already, Elizabeth, but we succubi divide much of our strength from intimidate, shall we say, relations with humans. It has been a while since I last indulged myself, and I fear I am not in peak of physical condition. This could soon be altered, however, if either you, Hiroki, or both of you deign to spend some quality time with me. What do you say? I know you might be the best time, given you must be worried about the princess, but I am suggesting this for Stephania's sake. If I do come to blow with her kidnappers, I would prefer to do so when I am in optimal form. I do not wish to be weakened before a fight. That might impact our chances at retrieving Stephania. Elizabeth ponders Marina's words for a few moments before, after a pause, she nods. Very well. If what you are suggesting would aid Milady, then I have no option but to consent. I too wish for nothing to save her safety. It is my highest priority. I am prepared to perform any task of her sake, indulgence in any vice. I will stop at nothing to get her back. Very good. I like that answer. It is very decisive, and it is full of passion. I can see that any entanglement with you will be most diverting. And who knows? Perhaps it will help to assuage your worries, if only for a few brief moments. Perhaps it will. That remains to be seen. However, consenting because of my own enjoyment, I would never normally pursue my own pleasure while Milady is in danger. I am doing this for her, but of course I would never dare to question otherwise. Now, what do you say about this arrangement, Hiroki? Would you care to join us? Now, I know what Marina's getting at. Of course, she's not being exactly subtle, but I'm not sure how I feel right now. Do I want to join? Of course I do. How can I say no to this? Well, that's a no-brainer. It doesn't require much thought at all on my part. But before I continue, here's one thing. In terms of breasts, we all know Marina's breast is firm, whereas Elizabeth's own is all saggy. So we got firm and sag, all in one picture here, in one video. But anyways, of course I like to help. I have no issues with this arrangement. Now let's get down to business. This is good. I like where this is going. Later that night. Hey, it's succubus time. Let's go. This place is like a seriously scuzzy. It's so dilapidated. And ew, did I just see a rat? You. I knew this was gonna happen. I have a feeling of this. Did you? How lucky. Of course she will like it because she's like a cat. Those cat ears. Of course she'll go after the rat, Cosmos. How is that lucky, dummy? Since when we were rats, a sign of good luck? I have a feeling that these two, it's like Cosmos and Wanda. Like, this is Wanda and this is Cosmos here, doing his dumb stuff like usual. Sometimes he could be smart. And this is Wanda doing her own thing and such. This is how it feels like between these two. I think rats are cute. I like their twitchy noses and their little pink tails. I wouldn't mind having a rat as a pet, actually. Well, there is people who do have rats as pets, though. Maybe I could lure out with some cheese. Do you have any cheese on you, Cosmos? Of course I do. I am part Italian. I never go outside without some mozzarella in my pocket. What? You have mozzarella? I hope it's inside of a packet rather than just in your pockets as it is. Nah. Bro, I would not want some of that. Your Succubus outfit doesn't have any pockets though. Oh yes, I suppose you're right. Geez, try to take this a bit more seriously, please. This kidnapping case, Stephanie could be in real danger. I concur, this is very serious indeed, and this is no time for jeopardy. Jeopardy. And why might I ask you, are you laughing? Oh, there's no reason. I was just thinking jeopardy is such an old-fashioned word. You really are an old lady, Marina. Old. Uh-oh. Oh no, this happens. This happens so many times in the Succubus series. Marina's scowls at Ayu and her expression twisting. We'll have less of that, young lady. Not if you don't want a smack bottom. Oh god, she did that before. I thought you yourself said this was serious. It is serious. Please put your petty squabbles to one side for now, and don't worry about the rats. My lady's safety is vastly more important. Yes, indeed. And she makes that face. Now that we have all assembled here, we should be able to take on these kidnappers, whoever may be. Things might be dicey with just you and I, Elizabeth, but Cosmos and Ayu should act as decent enough back up. This is hard for ordinary humans to best one Succubus, but with three of us, don't much fancy our assailants cases. However many of them there might be. Our victory is all about assured, but it doesn't do to be too confident. There's always a chance there might be more people involved in Stephania's kidnapping than we are aware. If this is an operation conducted by a large organization, say the Yakuza, then we will have our work cut out for us. That being the case, let us go over our plan once more. Shrouded by the shadows of abandoned warehouses that towers about us, Marina launches once more into a plan. As far as plans go, it's pretty simple. The five of us, Marina, Ayu, Cosmos, Elizabeth, and I, came out here to the Resdes Vos Point delighted in that ransom note to meet the kidnappers who took Stephania and to negotiate with them. Marina and Ayu Cosmos have already changed into their succubus attire, and their silhouette looks rather imposing when framed against the moonlight. We've yet to enter the warehouse where Stephania is supposedly being held, but I know we'll have to do that eventually. It's the only way after all to get Stephania back. Our plan when it comes to Stephania's retrieval goes like this. I'll have to go inside the warehouse first alone as requested in the ransom note. I'll take with me a briefcase full of cash, which the kidnappers also requested. I'm to make a show of exchanging the money with the kidnappers, and when they're distracted, Elizabeth will creep into the warehouse to rescue Stephania. While this is occurring, Marina and Ayu Cosmos will arrive to back me up, and they'll take care of the kidnappers. I don't know how many people are behind this operation, but I hope there won't be too many of them. Even if there's, say, a dozen men hanging about in that warehouse, it shouldn't be too hard for my Succubus companions to dispatch of them. I have not seen Marina or others unleash the full extent of their powers before, but I have no doubts they're stronger than most ordinary people. They should be fine. I hope they'll be fine at least. With Stephania rescuing the kidnappers down for her account, it should be simple enough to matter call the police and let them take care of the rest. With this way, we'll get to save Stephania and we'll be able to keep the money. I can't say I really relished the thought of heading into the warehouse on my own, but Marina had said, and Elizabeth agreed, that this is the most sensible course of action. Remember, Hiroki, don't do anything to arouse the kidnappers' suspicion. Marina informs me once she's finished going through our plan for the 9th time. Damn, that's a word error they missed right here. They missed this one right here. If this plan is to succeed, we'll need the elements of the surprise on our side. Let the kidnappers think you came alone as per their notes stipulations. If they see you, one unarmed young man, they should let their guard down. That's when we'll step in. We'll take them all down. No matter how many men there are, I'll go bam pow yeah, like something like from an action movie. You can call me Bond Cosmos Bond. Yeah, James Bond. I know what you're talking about. That's another reference to James Bond. I'm not calling you anything other than idiot. Can you keep your voice down? Remember what Marina said. We need to be stealthily. I've never been very good at stealth missions in video games. But Roger, I hear you loud and clear. Are you or maybe soft and silent? I don't want Steffi to be hurt, so I'll do my best to stick to the script. I'll do everything to ensure her safety. And we shall do everything we can to ensure your safety too, Hiroki. You've nothing to worry about. If any nasty miscreant dares to lay so much finger upon you, there will be a great reckoning. I won't let any blackguard harm my darling. Blackguard. What? Once more, Ayu smirks, doubtless amused by this antiquated expression. And you say you're not an old lady, even though that come out of your mouth is like so uncool. I am not old. I will thank you not to talk about what is cool and what is not. Oh shit, she's pissed. Yeah, we already know what's gonna happen. This stuff happens all the time, even during this series. Aren't you the one being beaten in the charts by a woman who's on the wrong side of 30? Oh shit, oh. Damn. Ayu whizzes at this, then presses a hand into her chest. You didn't need to go there, Marina, you harpy. I'm still sore about the whole Shizuru thing. Really? You're sore about it? But I thought you said you didn't care, Ayu. I don't care. Shizuru's popularity doesn't bother me, not in the slightest. I'm totally chill about it. I'm calm. I'm fine. I'm not worried that my career might be crashing and burning, so let's not even talk about it. Well, you were worried before, though. Like, you did say that back in, like, Sakura Succubus, what, 6 or 5? Jeez. Everything is totally fine and dandy. Sure it is, whatever you say. I think we're getting off topic again. Yeah, she already... Yeah, see, that's when they keep screwing it all over. Now that our plan has been successfully hashed out, I suggest we set it into motion. Would you be so kind as to enter the warehouse, Mr. Orosawa, and parley with the kidnappers? I can tell that Milady is nearby, and I will not rest until she has been retrieved. Milady's safety is my utmost concern to me. Everything else can wait. Right. I face the abandoned warehouse which looms before me with its water-damaged walls and its broken windows and inhale. My fingers, which are resting at my sides, curl into fists. A few moments pass, which I gather what little remnants of courage I process, and then I'll do it. I step forward tightly, clutching into the briefcase full of money Marina bequeathed to me earlier in her office. Just you wait, Steffi. I won't abandon you, not to the mercy of these vile kidnappers. We're all here, and we all want to rescue you. I'm going to look after you, I promise. Alright. It's time we go in. I was right. This place really is scuzzy. I glanced about the warehouse interior all the while clutching the briefcase Marina gave me, as though it's some kind of lifeline. This old warehouse has high, tall ceiling which seems to amplify every single noise I make, no matter how quiet. The warehouse has stood abandoned for many years, though how many exactly I don't know, and the roof which towers above me is full of holes. Though these holes, rainfalls has fallen, and the ground is gathered with full-tide puddles. I step into one puddle, which soaks the sole of my shoe and my sock. I shudder to feel it, and to suppress a hiss of surprise. I don't feel as at all welcome here, but this I guess is to be expected. Nobody should be here. I could probably get into legal trouble, amused, while I glance about for trespassing. If the authorities knew I come here, but the police are the last concern on my mind right now. I'm more fixated upon finding her safety and status of the kidnappers. I've only taken a few steps into the warehouse, but I've only not seen anybody suspicious just yet. Is Stefania really here? What about people who held her captive? I'm starting to second guess myself. Did I come to the wrong place? I take a few steps into the darkness, my heart hammered inside my chest the whole while. Out of the corner of my eye, I see something scuttle into shadows. Could it be a rat? Maybe several rats? Aya did say that she thought one back when we stood outside on the wharf on Analyte Cosmos. I don't think rats are cute. I'll have to side with Aya on this affair. I think they're perfectly revolting. Ugh. I shudder again, so cold my teeth are beginning to chatter. When I inhale, I can smell dirt and grime and rust. I turn a corner, skirting around a heap of an old packing crates. My eyes widen in oppressive darkness, and then in a bind. She's all tied up. Ah, finally I saw Stefania. So she really is here. Stefania is sitting on a wooden chair, her arms and her legs tied together with lengths with coarse rope. Her expression is anxious one as well it might be, given her dire circumstances. She looks afraid, but unfortunately, it doesn't seem like she's come to a physical harm. That's a relief. If nothing else, the kidnappers must have done too vile on her. Or at least I hope they haven't. Speaking of said kidnappers, I still can't see any trace of them, but I'm more concerned with Stefania's welfare right now. I dash over to her, then cry. Steffi, are you alright? This seems like a bit of a stupid question to ask, given the situation. It's obvious to just look at her that she isn't alright, but I feel obliged to ask it regardless. Stefania just looks unscathed for the most part, but I need to double check. Hiroki, you came for me? Of course I did. I couldn't just leave you, not when you were in trouble. I've been so worried about you. I'm glad to hear that. I suppose, though, I must apologize for making you fret. You don't need to apologize, not at all. You didn't do anything wrong. The real villains are whoever tied you up. Oh, yes, indeed. At the mention of these as yet unseen villains, Stefania's pretty face blanches. I need to warn you about that, Hiroki. There aren't any villains, plurals. There is only one. What? Did one person orchestrate all of this, then did they tie you up? Yes, they did, but... Damn it! They're gustier than I thought, but that should make things easier. If we're only up against one person, they should be easy enough to take down. We? Stefania blinks. What do you mean? I mean, I'm not only alone. Elizabeth came here too to protect you, and so did Marina and Cosmos. We're all here for you, Steffi. Oh my! I had hoped Stefania would be relieved at this news, but instead she looks concerned. I am flattered to hear that, of course, but that only makes me worry all the more. The woman who kidnapped me, you see, so the culprit behind all this woman is getting curiouser and curiouser. Isn't an ordinary woman. I have no idea what she is exactly, but I've never seen anybody look quite like her before, but she truly is frightening. I think she might be a demon. A demon? Yes, indeed. I think I know this sounds crazy, but please, Hiroki, you must believe me. Her powers are not of this world. If this weren't such a tense situation, I'd be almost tempted to laugh at that. Stefania doesn't need to worry about seeming crazy in my company. Not when I have a whole harem of sexy succubi lusting after me. If demons really do exist, I think I'd be prepared to take it in my stride at this point. I mean, why not? So many wild things have happened to me already. Demons don't seem all that far-fetched. Well, Stefania could have even thrown a vampire or two into her tail, and I wouldn't bat an eyelid. You see, you need to retreat, Hiroki. You and all the others. It isn't me what she wants. You see, I beg your pardon. She told me a bit about her plans, and when she tied me to this chair, she told me I was never her target. I was nothing more than a bait meant to lure you out. You aren't safe here. If you try to rescue me, she will appear, and then she will hurt you. I don't want you being injured for my sake, Hiroki. I would never forgive myself if that happened. Please, you have to. Stefania entreaties me, or at least she tries to. But before Stefania can finish her heartfelt plea, I feel something collide with the back of my head. There's a dull stick crack, which I realized a split second later must have emitted from my cranium. Oof. And then with a low moan of pain, I slumped forward. My knees hit the cold, hard floor. No, Hiroki! Shit! And everything goes black. What? I blinked, scattering the dots from the field of my vision and lifted my head. head aches and I feel a weight on my chest. The back is pressed against something cold and hard, and my limbs feel numb, as though they don't really belong to me. I can taste iron in my mouth, and it's hard to breathe. What's going on? Why do I feel so weak? I blink a few more times and then... Ensnared. It's that same person from... Yeah, I knew it. So it looks like that one person from that Sakura Swim Club who now turned into a whole demon. Finally, my vision comes to focus, and when it does, I discern the source of my current discomfort. Alright everyone, that's the end of today's video. So thank you guys for watching this video and this whole 50 minutes, man. Thank you guys for watching this video today. Check out my social media links down below in the description. And let's hit 10,000 subscribers before the end of this year. And I'll see you guys in the next one.